and welcome to the Middlesex Chamber today. My name is John Guerin, and it is a pleasure to be with you once again as we talk about the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce. It's many activities and committees and all sorts of things, and today it's a combination committee event that we're talking about. The committee is the Holiday on Main Street Committee, and by the way, that's also the event. We have with us, very happy to have with us once again for this program, the chairman of the committee, Al Santostefano. Welcome, Al.
Thank you, John, for having us again.
Oh, it's great to have you here. And vice chair, a man who's well known on Main Street, Rich Greco.
Thanks for having us again, John.
Good to see you both. And, you know, to talk about Holiday on Main Street, it's probably, it's definitely my favorite event of the year. I know it's not necessarily Rich's favorite event because it's got more than two wheels, but it's just an amazing family event that has been going on now for how many years?
This is our 35th or 30. I was tracked, John.
I know.
Around
It's-
31.
John, you should know because you were on the committee
Well,
I
I
think
know.
at one time years ago.
Yes, I know. I'm sitting there. When you start talking 30 plus years
Yeah.
of an event
Yeah.
that just continues to grow and seems to get a little bit better, I would say every year, because there's always some little twist that you try to, you know, put into the event.
And John, and to interject on that, that's the committee. You know, I've been doing it since the beginning.
Yep.
But every year, I say to the committee, you guys come up with something different. Let's do something different this year. And boy, if they don't come up with something different every year, some little
Yeah.
twist, some little addition, and that's the committee. They're great. I mean,
Oh.
we have some very knowledgeable, imaginative people on our committee that come up with these ideas, and they all seem to work. They work every time.
Oh, that is,
So-
it's tremendous. And at the beginning of every program, I usually like to, for people who are brand new to the program, talk about each of what you do outside of the committee. And at this point, I'm pleased to say all three of us are retired. But so we've got all sorts of extra time to work on things. But anyway, Al, why don't I begin with you? I know you're just a new member to the retired ranks.
Yes, in July, I retired from the Middletown Fire Department. I was the fire marshal, and having a great time right now. I know that.
Yeah.
It's a little different having a lot of time to myself, but I'm involved in a lot of stuff. Like, you know, I've been with you many times in many committees
Sure,
in the
sure.
past 35 years. And I'm still doing all that stuff. So I'm busy during the day. I don't sit around much. But I am playing a little more golf.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. That's good. And Rich, your situation.
I retired in June of 2012 from the financial services arena and insurance. And since then, I've gotten a little more heavily involved in downtown activities. My first one actually was Holiday on Main.
Yes.
That was my first committee, and grew into the auction, and then about 6, 7 years ago, maybe even 8 years ago, got involved with Motorcycle Mania
You're
that I
right.
run now, and got involved with the car show a couple years ago.
Yep, yep.
So I keep busy in addition to a part-time gig at a local golf course.
Yep. And, you know, it's really nice, and I think this is probably an appropriate time, too, to say to our audience that Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce, really the backbone of everything that goes on at the chamber, as well as its very dedicated staff, are the volunteers, the people who come out from their everyday lives to participate in all of the functions, regardless of the committee, regardless of the event. That's what's made the Middlesex County Chamber so strong, has been the strength of the volunteers that are involved. And I know you use one or two during Holiday on Main Street. Why don't we first of all talk about what it is and when it is this year? Rich, why don't I toss that one to you?
Well, I'm in charge basically the first night, that Friday night, and it's the Friday right after Thanksgiving,
Right.
Which is this year, it'll be November 24th.
Yep.
The time frame for that night is we start at 4 p.m. And it runs until approximately 8:15.
Right.
In front of the chamber, we do our annual, which has always been successful, as Al knows, our popcorn and pretzels.
Right.
And that's something we've been doing, and we have never changed that price, have we? It's
No,
been
it's still a dollar.
So for $1, you get a bag of popcorn and one of those giant pretzels that you probably pay $5 or more for at one of the
Anywhere
carnivals.
else,
I mean, it's a bargain.
Right.
So, you know, that's been a constant thing that we had. We start at the green basically at 5, and that starts with a carol sing.
Right.
You know, we got a couple different groups there from the local Middletown schools. The Middletown High Marching Band takes an event down there for us too. They play for us. We've got 3 tree lightings that night. We have a parade. We parade right down Main Street.
Yeah.
For those not familiar with the event, we do close Main Street right off. It's closed when the kids are walking down there playing their instruments, and the spectators who are on the green, of which last year we probably had 1,500
Yeah,
range.
around in that general area now, John.
Right.
Do you remember the days when we'd have 300 or 400 and we
Oh,
were
sure.
excited about that?
Absolutely.
We're way by that now.
And actually, too, Rich, when you say Washington Street is closed, we're talking from Washington Street, I should say, from Washington Street, Main Street, all the way down to the South Green.
Correct.
That's the area that's
Yeah,
closed.
we
Because, of
clo-
course, we can't close the north,
Right.
north end of Main
It's a
Street.
state highway.
Right.
So during that event at the green, we have a tree lighting down there. Okay, after the tree lighting, and the mayor says a few words, and we have a few other speakers and presentations, performances, et cetera. Then we march down Main Street, where Larry McHugh at the chamber says a few words, and we have another tree lighting. After that, we go into Pictures with Santa, which is a real popular item. And the only thing that we charge for was the pretzels and the popcorn. Okay, the entertainment's free.
Yeah,
The popcorn, like I said, you have to pay for. Pictures with Santa are free.
yeah.
All right, so it's a good treat for families with kids that want to take their kids somewhere and not be shelling out a lot of dollars. It's a great event for them. We also have some wagon rides, tractor rides, magician, and then after we're done with the pictures, we head down to Eli Cannon's for yet another tree lighting.
Very nice.
And Phil Lett down there does a wonderful job for the community down there. We get a big crowd there. Kind of got to close the street off a little bit
Right.
to allow for safety reasons to turn people around. But that pretty much covers the whole night with the types of activities going on.
Right. And that's just the opening night
Yes.
of Holiday on Main Street, and which is, again, it has become almost an event in and of itself, that particular evening. And are they going to arrange for any snow at Eli Cannon's this year?
Well,
or?
I'll call the local weatherman and see what he predicts, and I'll predict exactly opposite probably.
Rich has pull because of the holiday, because of the motorcycle and the car show. He has a pull with the weatherman
I
because he doesn't have a rain on those days. So
Right, yeah,
we don't
well,
have snow on this night.
we'll probably have rain on the night we should have snow.
Speaking of Eli Cannons, we always tried to figure out a way. I don't know if you remember, to get up to that north end and
Oh,
do
yeah.
some of this.
Absolutely.
And Phil Ouellette at Eli Cannons came up with this idea. He says, "I'll do a thing on the front of my building," which now brought it up to the north end.
Sure.
And there'll be 500-600 people there that night at Eli Cannons.
Oh, that's
and then
nice.
he gives free gifts to every kid that's there. I mean, a big box full of stuff.
Yeah.
For kids. So it really adds to the whole night. Now we use all of Main Street from one end to the other.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm going to go out on a limb for that Friday night at Eli Cannon's. I'm going to say there will be some snow there.
All right.
Won't tell you how, but there will be snow.
I thought there might be something white going
Yes.
on up at that end, along with the singing of White Christmas or something. But in any event, this is really, it has become such a tremendous event. And Al, you were mentioning the idea of something new every year. What sort of new twist has the committee come up with for the 2017 edition of Holiday on Main?
Well, what we're doing this year, we've always done the book readings
Yes.
at different locations. But now with R.J. Julia on Main Street, and they jumped right in with us right away for our book readings.
Yes.
All our readings will be at R.J. Julia this year.
Nice.
Which is a great spot. I don't know if you've been in there yet, John, but it's beautiful in there. They have a beautiful spot downstairs that'll be perfect for us to do the readings. And of course, we'll have the people in character from the book, dressed in costumes. And I guess that's the little twist. We'll all be there this year instead of a different location. Except that one day, the fire chief, we do go to the fire station on that particular day. And the mayor does read at the inn on his Saturday. I mean, again, we're at every Saturday up to December 16th is our last Saturday.
Right, well, that's it. We've talked about the Friday after Thanksgiving as the kickoff, but then it's the next day on the 25th, and then for 4 Saturdays altogether.
Altogether,
You
yeah.
know, approaching the Christmas season. And the Saturdays, what kind of time frame do you usually aim for at this point under the committee?
It's 10 o'clock to 2. And again, we have everything, pretty much most of the same stuff every Saturday. The first Saturday we have Kung Fu, the Kung Fu Academy. They do a demonstration at the firehouse, Top Kung Fu. The readings every Saturday. Every Saturday we have a different civic organization that sells the popcorn and pretzels. In the Civitan, I don't want to miss anybody here now. The Civitan, the Rotary, Kiwanis, they all pitch in and they help us on each of those days sell the popcorn and pretzel. We have the hay wagon rides. We have the fun train. We'll have the picture taking booth on one or two Saturdays. Just every Saturday we try to mix up a few different things to not make it stale. Add a little something different.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I see the Kiwanis are going to be involved on the Friday night.
Correct.
That's the big night. Right?
And at this point, as far as the service club involvements, are they pretty much manning the popcorn and pretzels?
Yes.
So that it's a nice contained activity for them also.
Right.
Absolutely. And I don't want to miss the last Saturday. Usually the last Saturday we use the veterans group.
Oh, good.
So we get all the veterans there, which is a really nice event when they're there. Those guys, I know most of them, like Rich does. We know most of those guys, and
Sure.
just a great group of guys, and they're always ready to step forward to help any way they can with anything. So they usually do the last Saturday was their time.
Very
So.
good. Very good. And thinking of things that have been pretty much a trademark of Holiday on Main, how are we doing for transportation on Main Street?
Well, the bus company, Middletown Transit, will usually pitch in, and they'll have a bus that will run a circular route up and down the Main Street area, bringing people down to the inn when the mayor's reading, to wherever, and then in the whole downtown.
Do they still use the trolley, or are they?
No, the trolley's been long gone, yeah.
Oh, the trolley's gone.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right.
And the trolley was a nice thing.
It was.
that
It
was
was a
nice.
nice touch.
But-
And any other sort of rides or transportation available on?
Well, it's sort of tying in the transportation. Once you get there, say you drive in, you got to park. Just for for people watching the show, that there is free parking. Okay, in the municipal lots on the day of the event. At that time, in other words, from 10 to 2 on Saturday the 25th, there'll be free parking in
Yep.
the Lily lot, the lot behind Kid City, the parking garage, the arcade. Those are all supposed to be posted as free lots
Nice.
during the activities.
During the
So,
event, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that is tremendous. That is tremendous. And again, we mentioned the Kung Fu Academy that's going to be doing their work. What other sort of entertainment is going to be involved this year, as far as you know? I know we're early too when we're doing
Well,
this
that's what I
taping.
just wanted to
so-
say. Right now,
Right.
we're still working on a few things to get for each different Saturday.
Right.
And as you know, that takes time.
Yes.
We get the word out to a lot of organizations, and we wait to see who comes back first. And it's a busy time for them too,
Sure.
that time of year. So we end up getting a couple more. And sometimes one Saturday we might not have a different type of entertainment, but usually we try to get something in there different. Of course, we have the horse and carriage ride, which the kids love. The two big draft horses pulling that hay wagon, and the kids love that. And the horses are just so great. And they love doing that. I'm amazed at that. Those horses live to do that. They don't want to stop. They want to keep going.
Yeah.
And the kids love watching that.
That is great. That was one of the forms of transportation I was thinking of, wondering if that was going to be back again
Oh, yes.
this year.
We
Oh,
would
that's-
never let that go. That's huge for us. And the fun train, they love the fun train. That rides up and down on the sidewalk.
Nice. Nice.
So, I mean, pretty much every Saturday we've got a bunch of stuff going on. The readings are very popular. And I can't remember even when we started that, but that was someone on the committee that came up with that idea.
Yeah,
And,
it was early on.
Yeah,
It was definitely
quite a
early
while
on.
ago. And that's very popular.
Yeah.
The last Saturday, Santa reads. But every reading, I mean, I know the fire chief was a good friend of mine, and the police chief, Billy McKenna, they both tell me the place is packed.
Yeah,
Packed
yeah.
with kids and, the moms and dads, and we have the character there.
Right.
So it works out really well.
That's good. Now, we mentioned RJ Julia, and they're getting involved with their new location on Main Street. I know that the business community support on Main Street has always been a very important part of what's going on. How is support these days?
It's good. It hasn't waned at all, John. It's, it is a lot of businesses on Main Street. The one big business that is a big contributor It's not on Main Street, it's Pratt Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
Pratt Whitney takes up a big chunk of what we need for our budget
Mm-hmm.
in their donation, which we're very grateful to them for that, because it just, like Rich was saying, we don't charge for anything, and we don't want to charge for anything. We want people to come down and enjoy the day with their children and not have to put their hand in their pocket
Sure.
to bring out money, constant. We don't want to do that.
Right.
So that's when the businesses step up, and it's multiple. I mean, the list it'll be in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you'll see the list in the paper, because it's a long, long list
Sure.
of people that help us with this.
That's tremendous. That's
So-
tremendous.
And of course, the city of Middletown makes a donation to the whole event, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was going to say, too, their contribution is also seen in other ways,
Oh, yeah.
other than just, contributions to it. But I mean, in terms of what Public Works has to do
Police.
and police have to do, and, even in the fire involvement, use of the station, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. It is a community event.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets involved, some way or some form.
And it's a community even larger than Middletown, because we'll draw from out of state even. We'll get grandparents or aunts and uncles that'll come down
Sure.
because they've heard about it, and mom and dad say, hey, why don't you come down, with
Sure.
pictures with Santa and the free hay rides. And everything. So we'll draw people from out of state, from Massachusetts, that'll come down for the event.
Yeah.
I've talked to people from Springfield. And I said, Springfield? They said, we heard about this. We wanted to come down with our kids. Springfield, Mass. And they came down because they heard about this event downtown Middletown.
That's tremendous. That is tremendous. And for those of you who are not aware of what we're talking about, even though we've had little blurbs on the screen, we're talking about Holiday on Main Street 2017, well over 30 years now. It's just a tremendous event. And we're so pleased to have with us, as you've seen on the screen, the chair and co-chair of the event. And how many volunteers would you say you've gotten involved at this point with the committee, and then certainly the folks helping out?
Probably 10 or 12 on
Well,
the
10 on
committee.
the
in addition to
committee.
us.
10 on the
And
committee.
then if
yeah.
you count the civic clubs every Saturday, we're probably talking 30 people, probably
That's
at
nice.
least,
That's very nice.
to get involved to help out.
Yeah, and again, so much of what Middlesex County Chamber does is based on volunteer support in helping these things go and work every year. And certainly the tremendous support of the sponsors who do get involved and who participate in the overall event. It's a marvelous thing. But for those who weren't here at the beginning of the program, Rich, why don't you just recap again just some of the things that go on the kickoff night, the Friday after Thanksgiving, starting at?
Starting at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. We start off basically on the green.
Yep.
Okay, and down there we have some musical presentations by local choral groups from the middle schools, junior high, and high school. And we do a tree lighting at the end of that from the green. The mayor will be down there to kick off, and Santa, I think, is there. Does he show up for that too? Yeah.
I think, yeah, he's been known to show up, make an
Make an
appearance.
appearance,
Yeah.
if he can get from the wagon to the stage.
I
Very
see.
difficult sometimes, but yeah.
Without walking over a lot of young children, okay? But Santa shows up for that, and between Santa and the mayor, we get the tree lit, okay? And then after the tree lighting, we have a parade that we talked about down Main Street. We close down Main Street so there's no cars backing out into traffic or people walking, because you can actually walk down the center of Main Street. We're not on the sidewalk, we're in the middle of the road.
Right.
So we do proceed from there again to the chamber. Larry McHugh will say a few words, maybe a few other people will talk, and we'll do a second tree lighting there. Then we go into pictures with Santa. They're free again. Okay, and sometimes my wife and I even jump in and get a picture with Santa. As long as he doesn't mind us sitting on his knee. And we get our pictures done. We've had pets in there in the past too. People put their pet in the picture, and
Yep.
we're willing to take the pictures, and they're kind of magically appear.
Yep.
That old school photography that we use. So they kind of watch it develop. It's kind of neat. And from there, we go down to Eli Cannon's, where we do another tree lighting, have a magical snowfall. Okay, and then I guess Eli gives out what Al was talking about, presents to all the kids there,
That is fantastic.
which is a great night. So,
Right.
and that kind of wraps up our opening night and what we do.
Which is, I mean, again, it's just a tremendous way to kick this off. Thanksgiving is usually a family time. People have gotten together, so a lot of families, in and around the area, so that
Oh, yes.
probably helps to build that, that evening as far as that goes. And then, of course, the Saturdays, and even on the Friday evening, you've got all the restaurants that are available on Main Street for people who want to come down and have dinner as part of the overall evening. And are many shops open on, I know that Saturdays, of course they are, but on the Friday night, do you have any who make special
They
arrangements?
usually keep most of their same hours. The restaurants, of course, are always open.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
but on Friday night, like Mel's is closed at 5:30. I'm not sure what time. Model, she stayed open during the whole event, which makes sense. It's a hobby and toy store.
Yeah.
So she's open for quite a time. But a lot of them do stay open.
Good.
That little extra time because there's a lot of people down there. So.
Sure, sure.
But the restaurants do make out pretty good from that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people down there.
I would hope, because again, for people, and especially if you've never been down to Main Street to eat, why? There are so many terrific restaurants on Main Street with such a wide variety of choices. So, but again, that's a sidelight. I think the beautiful part about this, once again, is the fact that really all of the things we've been talking about, with the exception of the popcorn and the pretzel, which cost an exorbitant $1, everything's free as far as Holiday on Main Street and what the committee puts together to do. It's almost unbelievable in today's situation that those things go on that way.
And the one thing we haven't talked about, because we always hate to bring this up
Yes.
for any of the events that we do, but in the event of bad weather,
On that
which
Friday.
in this case would be snow or ice that Friday.
Of course.
Okay, we push the activity for Friday night into Saturday in the same time frame
Oh,
with
good.
Friday night. So we start at 4 on
Right.
that Saturday.
Right.
Okay, and we've known to have done that at least once.
Once.
And I think
it's
one
only been
Saturday we
once.
had to postpone.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
Saturday we won't reschedule because we're not going to do it on Sunday.
sure,
So,
sure.
but,
Sure. So the Saturday events at that point. And again, a lot of this will be in the newspaper. I'm
will,
sure it'll be on flyers that'll probably be
We-
available up and down Main Street.
We send flyers to every school. Every school in town will drop off a box of flyers, and they'll distribute them to the students to
Oh,
bring
nice.
home.
Good.
So it's a little flyer that goes right on the refrigerator. It's got everything listed, all the events each day, so it's right there. So, but then it'll be in the newspaper, it's on the chamber website. Yeah, it's wherever we can get it in, we get it in.
Right. Oh,
No.
that is.
At Comcast,
Yes.
I think you guys run it on the Comcast Access channel. I think you do that, run
Yeah,
that stuff there.
usually that is up there on the calendar of
the calendar
events that
events.
are things that are coming up and going on. So certainly lots of ways for people to find out about it and what's going on.
Well, then, John, too, we've been doing it for so long that people just kind of know. It's that Friday after Thanksgiving, this thing goes on downtown.
Right, right.
And some of these people are bringing their grandkids to when they were bringing their kids originally, and now they're bringing their grandkids. But yeah, that just, that the word of mouth, and we've been doing it so long that people just kind of expect it to be there now. So
It's just fantastic. And Al, again, why don't you, again, for our viewers on the program today, why don't you just go over a little bit of the kind of things that happen on the Saturday mornings, Saturday midday between 10 and 2?
10 and 2, yeah. It's, the hay wagon, the fun train, the reading at different locations, the book readings with the character there in place from the book. We have the popcorn and pretzels again, like from all the different civic groups. On one or two Saturdays, we'll have the photo booth, which is very popular. People love the photo booth. They go in and get those, that comes out those 3 pictures. You're standing there posing, and that's free. Everything's free.
Yeah.
So pretty much every Saturday, we got a full list of things that we're doing each Saturday. Of course, Santa's there every Saturday, greeting the kids and giving candy canes, and which are free.
Sure.
And so it's pretty active. It's pretty
Right.
active each Saturday.
And you were mentioning, too, the free parking at this point. So we're talking about all of the surrounding streets, because, of course, Main Street itself from Washington to the South Green is closed. So,
Right.
would that involve the garage and other
It
locations
involves the
there?
arcade behind the police station,
Okay,
Malilly Plaza, and off of Broad Street, which is behind Kid City,
Kid
that
City.
lot.
Okay.
Those 3 lots.
Every
Okay,
municipal
great.
lot.
Yeah, every
The
municipal
municipal
lot.
In the
lots.
downtown area, they're all
Okay.
free during
Okay.
that time frame.
All right, that's good, that's good. And as far as if somebody is coming down, if this is their first time, Friday evening, they should probably try to get down toward the South Green, because that, with the gazebo, people have probably seen the South Green down in that. I used to talk about the Middletown Press Building, but it's not there anymore, no.
Boy, John, you're dating yourself.
A lot of
I
things have
know,
changed
I
on
know.
downtown.
I think of all the things, but down by the Middletown Inn, you know, and the South Green is well known. If anybody's been down there for the farmers market or anything, they know where that area is. But that's where things will be kicked off there. Now, if they're interested in popcorn and pretzels and pictures and maybe grabbing a hayride, those things all happen
At
pretty
the
much
chamber.
at the chamber.
Correct.
end. Okay, that's good. And then we've also got the tie-in this year of Eli Cannon's up at the north end. So there are a couple of municipal lots up at that end too, aren't
Yes, there
there?
are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those also free on
Yeah,
that night?
well, that night, because, well, Eli
that-
Candace is pretty late.
Yes.
It's 8 o'clock, 8:15, so that,
Okay.
by then, the meters are not being used, so.
Good.
But yeah,
So free parking. This is
Yeah.
this is a good thing. It's small things like that that can make a big difference too. Sometimes when people make a
Oh, yes.
choice as to where they're going to want to go. Well, believe it or not, we're down to about the last 2-3 minutes here on the program, and I'm trying to think if there are any areas that we haven't touched on, something that, or maybe something we just want to emphasize, or people we want to thank.
well, I would like to thank, we'd be here for an hour thanking everybody that's, but there are a few things we're working on, John, and we're not definite yet with these, but there are a few things, that real different things, events during the Saturdays that we're working on. Hopefully, some of them will pan out. And those will be in all our ads later if we do get those things done. That's why I can't mention them, because we're not sure if we're going to be able to
Sure,
get them yet.
sure.
We're working on it. But a couple of them will be pretty nice. The kids will love them.
Very good.
So we're working on that. Like you said, every year we try to add a little different wrinkle. Having R.J. Julia there is great. I mean, that's a great bookstore. It's just nice in there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure for the holidays, they'll have it decorated very nice in
Sure.
there.
And of course, having that for a few of the readings, it's going to be
Yeah.
a very special time for them too. And Rich, anything that you can think about or want to
Just
share?
notice to the public, come down, it's free, like we said, pretty much, other than what we charge for the popcorn and the pretzels. It's a great night for families, for kids, adults, the pets, we get the pets there too. But come on down, enjoy it, dress accordingly with the weather, because we never know. I know I'm standing down the green from like 3 o'clock on. It gets pretty cold by about 6. By the time I leave there, I'm pretty cold. So dress according to what the weather is. If you need gloves and a hat, bring them. Bring your holiday spirit, because it is the kickoff to the holiday season.
Yeah.
And the businesses downtown do appreciate us bringing all these people in. And we've seen the growth on Friday nights alone.
Yeah.
Since I've been involved, from 500 people to 1,500 to
Yeah.
2,000.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
And
difference,
that
though.
is huge. Yes, I do remember those, the first few years of, if we had a few hundred people, we were very happy
Yeah,
on
we
a
were happy.
Friday night.
And now,
So-
the difference on Friday nights, when we added Middletown High into the mix with the band and their choral group,
Sure.
that brought all mom and dads and grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles, everybody came down now.
Yep.
And that's when we noticed a huge spike in attendance.
Yeah,
on
that's
that night.
tremendous. Well, there's so many people to thank, so many things to think about, but we hope that you will put on your calendar Friday night after Thanksgiving and the 4 Saturdays immediately following. Make that a place to go, a holiday on Main Street. But I'd like to, special thanks to Rich Greco, Al Santostefano. Thank you so much for having been here.
Thank you, John.
It's great to have you. And to our viewers, I hope you have a spectacular holiday on Main Street in 2077. I was almost going back to the 1900s here. Oh, boy, am I showing it. From a bunch of retirees, we hope you have a great time. And join us again on another Middlesex Chamber Today. Thank you.